There are claims now of aggressive behaviour towards airport staff.
Yeah, nothing particularly new in that either, Colette. That has been something which has been arising at Dublin Airport since the queue started forming back in March when the issue was first identified. Dublin Airport Authority at that point then said that they had effectively addressed the situation, that the long queues that we saw back in March were not going to be a hallmark of the summer months, and then we saw what happened last weekend. So there's been a quick turnaround now for Dublin Airport Authority to provide a plan for the government on how it is to avoid the travel plans of hundreds of thousands of people over the June bank holiday weekend being disrupted as passengers were last Sunday when 1,000 people missed their flights. Now we understand the plan will involve much as it did back in March, the redeployment of office staff and people from across different roles in the airport to the security queues, where they'll be helping out with the trays rather than any of the x-ray scanning and the expertise really of the security staff. Now Dublin Airport Authority effectively briefed the media as well as ministers yesterday that the absences of 17 members of staff on Sunday was in some way a contributing factor to the queuing situation that we had. That, of course, has not gone down well with security staff who say that the pay and conditions that they are offered are simply not good enough, and that is some way in explaining why there is still a shortfall in staff who were let go in the pandemic. They've also been detailing the level of abuse and verbal altercations they've had with frustrated passengers since the situation began earlier on this year.
On occasion since December, we've had to ask the DAA to increase the airport police presence and request a stronger Garda presence. I have to have faith, but that starts with taking ownership of the problem. It's not good enough to try and apportion the blame to somebody else. This is a private company. They are tasked with running one of the largest and most important pieces of infrastructure in the country. It is front-facing for the rest of the world to see how we manage things. They have to get it right.
Well, the eyes of passengers, of businesses, of the government will all be on what the DAA does put forward. We expect they'll be speaking to us here at Dublin Airport a little bit later on. But one of the problems for DAA is the fact that it didn't spell out to the government or to TDs and the Transport Committee in a letter that they sent last week that there would be an issue last weekend whatsoever. In fact, Dalton Phillips, the CEO of DAA, effectively saying that the situation had been handled very much so in terms of the recruitment of extra security staff. Travel agents, one of the groups which are worried about the situation at Dublin Airport, they've described last weekend's scenes as something that cannot be repeated.
I think Sunday, unfortunately, was absolutely shambolic for everybody concerned, both Irish consumers leaving the country to go on holidays and for visitors returning to their destination. So, the DAA have got to get the staffing issue resolved, but I'm not saying that's an easy thing. It's not easy for us or any business at the moment across all sectors in Ireland to deal with.
Well, it's busy enough for a Tuesday here at Dublin Airport, but nothing like what we saw last weekend. It will be a very different situation as the crowds start to gather from Thursday right through to the other side of the bank holiday weekend.
Richard Chambers at Dublin Airport, thank you for that.